it is an absolute fact. The gas tax is 16 pennies today. It was 16 pennies 30 years ago. And so the inflation has eroded the purchasing power to 7.5 cents. And you just simply can't do anything today with the same money that you had 30 years ago. And so it just doesn't work. And we have to have a very robust discussion about that as we move forward. We also have the third oldest gas tax in the country now. Our neighbors in Alabama and Arkansas recently increased theirs. And we also have one of the lowest in the country. But we're not going to sit idly by. We haven't done that since I've become governor to address infrastructure in Louisiana. Now, one of the things that we make sure of is that we continue to move forward in a creative, innovative way. And in fact, we've invested more than $2 billion in Louisiana on more than 1,000 projects that are benefiting 3,300 miles of roads. We do that by being innovative. So for the first time in our state's history, we're making making Garvey bonds available to us here in Louisiana, where 10% of the federal trust fund revenue has been bonded out for up to 12 years so that we can have the revenue to do high-capacity projects, one of which is to add a lane on I-10 between the bridge and the split here in Baton Rouge. We're doing that right now, as well as the interchanges that are being constructed at Kenner to access the new airport terminal that's going to come online, which I understand now is in August, and as well as the interchange on I-20 at Barksdale. Those are the capacity projects that we would never have been able to get to except for the fact that we're using Garvey bonds. But we've also been very intentional about applying and putting forward competitive applications for infra grants and Tiger grants from the federal government. They are enabling us to make these investments, one of which is the widening of I-10 between Holland Road and Highway 73 out in Ascension Parish. We make sure that when other states turn money back to the federal government, where we can, we intercept that money and put it to our shovel-ready projects here in Louisiana. Another thing we did I'm very proud of is in that first year when we were $2 billion upside down, we took the $72 million that my predecessor wanted to send to the state police. We left it in the Transportation Trust Fund for transportation projects, and we doubled our investment in the Port Priority Program, which as of this year, that's an additional $80 million that they would not have gotten otherwise. The biggest return on investment that we get is reports. So we are moving Louisiana forward, but we are more resource constrained than we would like to be, and anyone is pretending if they say we can do what we need to do within the existing revenue.
Thank you very much. Congressman Abraham.
Well, here we go again, more taxes. Look, my opponent has raised lots of taxes, but none of that money has been devoted to roads. It's not a priority in this administration. And the questionnaire was right. We've got $13 billion in backlog in road and bridge projects, and it's going to require multiple tools to fix this. But it's going to take leadership, and it's going to take prioritizing the money. First, we've got to be much, much more efficient with our dollars. Almost half of the Transportation Trust Fund goes right now for overhead, for health care and retirement for the DODT employees. And if we move at least some of that to the general fund, instead of where it's at now, it will certainly free up a lot more of these dedicated funds. We've got to hold the DOT accountable. Next, we need to be more creative and flexible about how we get these dollars. Yeah, do we need to explore P3s, public-private partnership? You bet. Do we need to take auto license fines and DUIs and prioritize that toward roads and bridges? You bet we do. But none of these tools alone, and maybe not even together, are enough to solve this problem. Now, everywhere I go, I get asked about the gas tax. My policy on any tax as your governor will be one tax up, one tax down. I think for a lot of people, it's an automatic go-to to go to a gas tax. But I go back to that greater level of accountability that we've got to have from DOTD, and we exhaust other possible resources before we talk about this gas tax. And if we're going to increase something huge, like a gas tax, I'm going to lower something else to make it at least tax neutral on that middle class working family. Governor, I think you would agree that the car insurance rates are at a crisis level in the state. Representative Talbot has a bill right now in civil law on Monday that he introduced that will lower the insurance rates for every single person and business in the state by aligning Louisiana with the rest of the nation. And I just hope that you and your team will support this bill. Thank you.